Are killers born or created by the world around them? This question, a chilling whisper in the dark, has haunted criminologists, psychologists, and society for decades. It lingers like a shadow, evoking a sense of dread and curiosity. What twisted circumstances shape a mind capable of such horror? Each story unfolds layers of complexity, revealing the darkest corners of human nature. It's the ultimate debate of nature versus nurture, played out on the blood-soaked stage of humanity's deepest fears, where shadows whisper secrets and darkness reigns supreme. Science has brilliantly decoded genomes and mapped the intricate pathways of the brain, yet a definitive answer about our existence remains tantalizingly out of reach, shrouded in deep mystery. Tonight, we embark on a chilling journey into that darkness, where secrets lie waiting to be uncovered. Beneath the surface of our existence, we're about to explore the unsettling roots of human evil. Is there really a killer gene lurking in our DNA? Some researchers believe there is, and the implications are chilling. Some claim that certain individuals are biologically predisposed to violence, born with a chilling blueprint for brutality, lurking beneath the surface. Studies point to genetic markers like the MAOA variant, often dubbed the warrior gene, which has been linked to increased aggression and a reduced ability to control impulses. It's not just in our DNA. Brain scans of convicted killers often reveal unsettling patterns. Abnormalities in the frontal lobe, the very part of the brain that governs judgment and decision-making. Their empathy centers, the neural circuits that allow us to feel for others, are frequently underactive, as if a crucial switch has been flipped off. But this isn't a simple death sentence written in our biology. Nature, it seems, may set the stage, but it doesn't write the entire script. If biology is the loaded gun, what pulls the trigger? For many, the answer lies in the shattered landscape of childhood. Scratch the surface of nearly any serial killer's history, and you'll find a litany of horror, relentless abuse, profound neglect, and unimaginable trauma. The emotional coldness of a parent, the constant humiliation at school, the deep loneliness of social isolation. These experiences don't just leave scars, they warp the very foundation of a developing psyche. This creates a perfect storm, a fragile mind, battered by a cruel world, until something inside irrevocably breaks. Take Aileen Wuornos. Her life was a tragic spiral of abandonment and abuse from her earliest years, forging a deep-seated rage and a profound mistrust of everyone around her. Her violence wasn't born in a vacuum. It was forged in the fires of a traumatic life, a desperate, deadly response to a world that had shown her no mercy. The debate becomes even more complex when we look at individual cases. Consider Ted Bundy, charming, intelligent, and from a seemingly stable middle-class background, he showed no obvious signs of a traumatic childhood. He was manipulative and displayed a chilling lack of empathy from a young age, leading many to believe he was simply a born psychopath, a predator hiding in plain sight. Then there's Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. His story is a textbook case for the nurture argument. A severe head injury in his youth, coupled with a childhood marred by abuse and exposure to extreme violence from his older cousin, created a monster. He was very much made. And what about Jeffrey Dahmer? His case is a disturbing fusion of both. He described feeling a strange detachment and having dark, obsessive thoughts from an early age, suggesting an innate predisposition. But his isolation and a dysfunctional family environment allowed these dark seeds to grow, unchecked, into a grotesque obsession. These cases show us that there's no single path to evil. Instead, nature and nurture combine in a unique and deadly dance for each individual. At the heart of this dark transformation is the brain itself. The prefrontal cortex, our internal CEO responsible for judgment, empathy, and impulse control, is the last part of the brain to fully mature, often not until our mid-20s. If a child with a vulnerable brain structure endures significant trauma during these critical developmental years, the result can be a catastrophic loss of emotional regulation. It's as if their neurological development becomes frozen in time. Some killers are, in essence, trapped with the adolescent impulses for dominance, morbid curiosity, and instant gratification, but now coupled with an adult's physical capacity for violence. This dangerous combination, an underdeveloped moral compass and an overdeveloped capacity for harm, is a lethal one. But here's a crucial point. Not every person with psychopathic traits becomes a killer. Not everyone who survives a horrific childhood goes on to inflict horror on others. So what is the bridge between a dark thought and a deadly action? It's a terrifying combination of opportunity and a profound emotional disconnection. One profiler famously described it as being born with the match, raised in gasoline. The genetic or neurological predisposition is the match. The traumatic environment is the gasoline-soaked surroundings. All that's missing is a trigger, a final stressor, a rejection, a loss of control to ignite the inferno. This is the moment when violent fantasy bleeds into horrific reality, when the line between who they are and what they do is erased forever. We can't ignore the world outside the home either. Society itself plays a role in this grim theater. When communities are plagued by poverty, systemic violence, and a lack of opportunity, aggression can become a normalized survival tool. The media we consume, the isolation fostered by modern life, and the social fragmentation that leaves vulnerable people feeling invisible, all contribute to an environment where dark impulses can fester. The failure to provide accessible mental health support or early intervention for troubled children isn't just a missed opportunity. It can be a catastrophic social failure. Sometimes, evil isn't just a personal defect. It's the symptom of a sick society that looked the other way. We fail to mend the cracks in a child's world, and a monster slips through. So, how do profilers and psychologists make sense of this tangled web? Many use what's known as the killer equation. It's a simple but powerful formula. Predisposition plus trauma plus a trigger equals murder. Think of it as a three-part ignition sequence. A biological or psychological predisposition is the first component, but it lies dormant. Add the second component, a history of trauma, abuse, or neglect, which primes the individual for violence. Finally, introduce a trigger, a significant life event like a job loss, a painful breakup, or deep humiliation. When these three factors converge, the result can be explosive and deadly. No single factor is enough to create a killer on its own. But when they combine in just the right, terrible sequence, they can ignite a fire that consumes everything. Given this chilling equation, the most important question of all is, can it be prevented? The answer offers a glimmer of hope in the darkness. Science is moving beyond simply understanding evil and toward preventing it. Early psychological intervention and emotional education are key. Identifying antisocial behaviors, a lack of empathy, or cruelty in children isn't about labeling or punishing them. It's about recognizing a cry for help. It's about providing the support, therapy, and stable environment they need to steer them away from a dark path. By teaching emotional regulation and empathy, we can strengthen the parts of the psyche that trauma seeks to destroy. Science aims to detect the darkness before it has a chance to spread, to heal the wounds before they fester into something monstrous. In the end, we return to our question, are they born or are they made? Perhaps the truth is that no one is born a monster, but some are born closer to the edge. Evil is rarely a pure, simple thing. It is a chain of moments, scars, choices, and failures. A genetic vulnerability, a childhood shattered, a society that failed to see the warning signs. Maybe the real question isn't whether killers were born or made, but whether we, as a society, ever truly had a chance to stop them. And what that says about us is perhaps the most unsettling thought of all. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the human psyche. If this exploration sparked your curiosity, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content that dares to look into the abyss. Stay curious and stay safe. It was Profile Evil.